Hey guys, how's it going? Kire here with another Diablo 4 video, and today it's an exciting one. We finally got ways as a solo player to experience level gains about as fast as a group play. And so understand just how good this is. We first got to understand what are the top ways of gaining experience and what kind of experience gains per hour you're looking at. And from the old method in Champion's Demise with 4 players before it got nerfed, it was about 33 million experience. Nowadays it's about 23 million experience if you're fully optimizing it. And it has a couple cons to it when you start to level higher, such as 95 and above, because you start to lose experience, so that experience per hour goes down. Whereas with this method, from 10 to 20 million, that is going to be a ton of different caveats to this, as we'll get into this video, but it's an amazing way to be able to farm solo. Not only is it a great experience farm solo, but it's going to be a really good method to get gold, way to generate as many of these sigils as possible based on what level you choose for this nightmare sigil. How it works is we're going to be glitching a nightmare sigil, so we're going to be picking one of these. It's going to be stuck, and we're able to leave the dungeon and come back in, and it will reset that first portion of the dungeon. That means is we'll be able to farm that first portion of the dungeon many times. We'll just be able to keep going in, farm it, leave, come back out. It is a very effective way to be able to level. First thing we got to keep in mind is going to be picking the right dungeon. Here's a couple places to start that I think are going to be really good. Keep in mind that these were rated off of solo farming experience with the intention of doing the full dungeon. I will be doing more testing here for these dungeons to see what the best one is until this gets patched. Based on the history of how Blizzard has patched things, probably this will get patched here soon. This is a good place to start if you want to try this. I did all my testing from 97 to 98 in blind burrows. I think you really can't go wrong there, but all these other ones could potentially be pretty good. We need to pick the right nightmare sigil because you get one bonus, but all of these negatives are going to be always impacted, where these are not going to change. So whatever you pick here is going to be every single time you run it. Get unlucky and have the right dungeon but bad affixes, it could really reduce your times. At least for me in my build, this was by far the best positive affix. It just makes it to where it's more consistent as I'm going through and killing the mobs. And one of the things that I think is pretty bad for this one was this monster's attack from a distance and reduce armor. Could be better there, but this is what I went with to be able to farm and get the numbers that I did. And I was able to go from 97 to 98 in 2 hours. So that would be 10 million experience per hour, but that's with picking up literally everything, not being efficient, doing the math, also not consistently grinding the entire time. And then how I'm getting up to 20 million per hour is because what ends up happening when you're past 95, if you're doing stuff like the typical Champion's Demise or doing non-nightmare dungeons, what happens is they don't go to your level. They don't actually level up to 98 with you, 99 with you as you're leveling up. So what that means is that every single level disparity between the minions and you, that's a 10% experience loss, depending on how good your group is and depending how good your build is for speed farming. It made a massive difference for me to go Whirlwind from Hoda. As I was Hoda, those times were not nearly as good. So you might want to respec to something that is more suited for this content. So I'm just going to pick any Nightmare Sigil just to show the concept. So whatever level you are, you only want to go to a Nightmare Sigil that the enemies are going to be 3 levels above you. That is how you maximize your experience without fighting enemies too hard. If you fight people that are 4 levels and above, you're not any extra experience. If you're planning on doing this for a while and your build's pretty strong, what you can end up doing is picking the ones with 4, maybe 5 levels above you, so you can stay in that same dungeon and only use 1 reset, keep it going. Difficult it is for you to be able to speed farm the people that are 3 levels above you. It may be worth it to just pick the one that is only 3 levels, and then when you're closer or when you level up once or twice, then you move up another Nightmare Sigil so you only keep that 3 level difference. Let's pick one. We'll go Moggen's Works. We need to go to this dungeon. So we're pulling up here. We come through. We need to go to the dungeon. What you need to do is actually just kill 1 minion. This part might not be necessary, but I believe you need to kill 1 minion just to confirm to the dungeon that you're here for this glitch. So just to be absolutely sure, this is what I did. So here we go. And then now we teleport out. One little quick tip here is you can actually keybind it. And then input 1, I put it Alt W. And then under input 1, I put teleport out of dungeon. So I'm just hitting Alt W and then I immediately get a leave. I don't need to hit the wheel or anything like that. So get out of the dungeon. Then what we're going to do is go to another dungeon and complete the first stage. Okay, so now I'm in Blind Burrows. We're going to complete this first section. And then we're going to go back to the other dungeon. We're going to teleport out of this one, go back to the other one. This is what's going to cause the glitch. Okay, so now we're done with this section here because we have triggered this top portion to go to the next stage and go back to Moggen Works, the Nightmare Sigil we have activated. You always want to pick up everything because that's how you get a ton of gold. So now we're back in here. There's a couple techniques and a couple tips here I want to share with you guys. So here, I'm just going to show you guys a quick example. We're going to kill this pack here, kill another pack. I just want to show that this actually resets. And what I like about this is that it's very immediate. And you don't have to worry about doing this phase here. You don't have to, it's not going to break anything. You can just do that first phase and it's not going to mess up the reset or anything like that. You don't have to worry about that. So all you got to do, go through this, get as much experience as you possibly can. Here, I'm going to kill another pack. I think this will be enough to really show that it's an actual reset. Now let's actually show the reset. So we're this far into the dungeon. So what's going to happen is we're going to come back in and it's going to be completely wiped again. So we back out, leave the dungeon, then we come back in immediately. And I like this too because there's no downtime. There's no waiting for anyone in your group or anything requests on you, or in champions you have to walk all the way over. There's none of that. It's just very simple. And notice how it is reset. So I can go back through. They're all here again. There's a couple other things I want to show you because I think it's totally worth it to pick up everything. That is going to be a big thing. Yes, it's going to slow down your experience, but this is really important. You're going to leave the dungeon. Then what you can do is when you're full on inventory. So when you're leaving the dungeon, this is how you can make it to where it's super efficient to be able to go back to town. So then you press T to go back to the main town, but it's going to leave this portal here. You got to remember this portal because some of these, depending on which dungeon you choose, are really far away. So you leave the portal there. Then you go straight to the blacksmith. Eventually, you're going to get to the point where you just want to sell things, and gold is the real bottlenecks. Pole arms and axes, I don't really care about. Legs, I always look at, so maximum life, but it's a 651, so it's just an instant sell. You do that with all your gear. I would stash the things that I actually really want to keep, and then immediately go back here. It's going to port you right in front of the dungeon. Then you could go back in and it's reset. That is another thing that makes this super efficient, that you get everything ready to go. Don't have to wait on anyone. You're just immediately going as fast as you want to go, and you can prioritize what you want to prioritize. Another thing too that's going to drop a ton is going to be these consumables, whether it be these experience things. So you want to time or plan your magic elixirs to the dungeon that you pick. You're going to be getting a ton of these sigils. So this is going to really snowball and make it to where you can either craft these for dust to be able to try to roll for something that is going to be a good dungeon for the next time when you tier up even more levels. Or you could just stack them up and use them like normal when you are finally ready to farm your glyphs. Depending on which dungeon you choose, there's other materials here that are actually really good. People were struggling to find crushed beast bones. So I have a ton of these now because in the previous dungeon, they just so happened to drop a ton of. Depending on your dungeon, they might have some of these magic crafting materials that are going to drop. In these monster parts here, depending on which one you get, some of them are more valuable than others. So that was one little nice bonus that came from farming it in the blind burrows. All right, guys. Well, if you like this video, be sure to subscribe for more. I got more testing to do here, so we'll figure out absolutely the best dungeon here and time out all the experience gains. And I also stream on Twitch every Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. If you want to catch me live, I will be streaming every Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And with that, guys, I'm out of here. Peace.